day, and welcome to Houston Pagan Television. We are finally recording a new episode, as we have a bit of a delay since the last one, due to unforeseen circumstances. With me today is Meical. I think that's how you pronounce it right?
Meical of
Blackberry. That's very difficult to say.
What can I say? If it's too easy, it's no fun.
That is true. I mean, I have a very unique name, Strada Alman Mayi. Everybody's like, that's May. My name, that's how I want. But how are you doing today?
Pretty well, thanks.
It's nice to have you on our show.
Thanks.
All right. You're with Blackberry Circle, correct?
That's correct.
All right. How long have you been with them?
I first started working with Blackberry Circle in 2008 as I came in from the outside, not even knowing anything about paganism at all, and then eventually became a student and then a coven member. And they provide trainings for students. It's a teaching coven, and they provide public rituals, which I think is a great service.
Yes, getting the image out there and letting people who are outside the religion interact and get an idea of what we're all about.
And, we're registered as a Texas church.
That's definitely good, too. It makes it a bit more official.
Yeah.
Makes it look more authentic instead of, non.
Authentic is what you do, not what you say, but it does also give us partial protection of the law, which is important, I think, for all of us at this point.
It is, most definitely, especially with a lot that's been going on, people trying to lay blame and attacking one another, especially with all the new rights that are going on, between gay rights, religious rights, and all that.
There's a lot of stress out there in the general population, and it's going to show one way or the other. They're going to attack those things they're afraid of, and they're afraid of the things they don't know anything about. So it behooves us to let them know that we're here and what we actually are.
And be in business.
Yeah, exactly.
So how exactly did you get involved with Blackberry Circle?
I had, I'm an environmental scientist and worked in industrial engineering all my life. And so I was never around anything that would have been anything at all like this part of society and culture. And then around 2006, 2007, I started feeling the need for spiritual practice. But I was damned if I was going to go to Christianity or back to Christianity or anything like that. And I looked around checked out different things. A lot of stuff was just too out there for me, so I said, well, screw it. I'm an environmental scientist, I'm a geologist, I have several geology degrees. I'm going to create my own spiritual practice. So I started writing and what I felt, and I started researching stuff. And I decided, well, I'm going to base everything on an earth-based practice. And I'm going to do the things that I think are important to me. I'm going to incorporate elements of air, water. Does this begin to sound familiar? So in the course of my research, all of a sudden I turned up something called Wicca. And I said, what is this? And I read about it a little bit. These people wear costumes, and they have strange names, and they believe in magic. But there's a lot that they do that's already what I was outlining that I'm going to make. So I'll just look into it a bit more.
Get past the facade that's put on.
So then I tried to look in a telephone book or the equivalent to a telephone book and find out where your nearest Wicca group was.
Which box?
Yeah, where? Eventually I found out that, and it turned out there was a group in Conroe that held public rituals and that had students. And so I went to one of their public rituals. Well, we show up there, my wife and I drug her along. She had no clue what I was doing. We show up to this house, John's house, out in the countryside, which is our covenstead. And it turned out that they have themed public rituals.
Oh.
And this particular one was Daisy May theme. And on the front porch was a Daisy May and some other people dressed up in costumes. And my wife turns and looks at me and asked me exactly what I was bringing her to. Said, I don't know. So we worked our way out back where we held the public rituals.
Don't be afraid if they ask you to drink a funny punch.
And they had a old clapped out washing machine as the altar and a car hood over the top of it forming their altar. And we're kind of looking at each other and like, okay, what have we gotten into?
Redneck paganism. There you go.
And it was Blackberry Circle's first redneck pagan ritual, because we theme our rituals. and that was it. And so there was John in coverall and everybody, and we're just wondering, what on earth?
Did he have pipe wrench as the wand?
No, he actually had his real athame, which is really nice. But so there we are, but what struck me for that very first ritual was the level of humor and just good faith in it. So we went to a few more. And then I said, okay, well, I want to be a student, because why should I have to reinvent the wheel if somebody's already done it? And I can overlook the bunny suits and, the strange names and stuff like this. And it took me a year to get in, because I was at the wrong time, and then I became a student, and then was eventually asked to be a coven member.
Well, that's definitely good. You took a leap, jumped in, said, why not? Apparently, you found something.
Totally different than anything I'd been around before, because all I'd ever been around before in terms of religion, to me, religion was Christianity, which to me was particularly abhorrent, just some things that happened in the past.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be involved with that.
But at least you overcame your fears, though. That was definitely a hard stuff. A lot of people can't do that because of, they get a bitter taste in their mouth over something that happened with something else in a different religious path, and when they find something that actually might fit them, they can't get over that hurdle of what happened in the past.
Yeah, I can understand that. It's not easy.
Yeah, been there myself as well.
But I found a good group, and I like them a lot. So far, they tolerate me. My goal in life is to get the crones angry in the group. We have 2 crones, wonderful crones, and if I can't gig them one way or another every time I meet them, then I'm falling down on my job.
Excitement to the day.
And they are fully capable of coming back full bore. That's not an issue for them.
And with age comes wisdom, with wisdom comes sharpness of tongue.
Sharp wit and a hell of a tongue. Well, any woman's got a tongue, but these 2, wow. I'll catch hell. That's what I'm doing right now. Is I'm talking about you. You know who I'm talking about.
Keep an eye out. We'll bring you on here one day.
Oh, you have to. You have to. In fact, I've featured a couple of them on some of the podcasts that I used to do, and they do great.
And just for the rest of the audience who don't know, what are the names?
We have John, who is a Thrallon.
John Edens?
John Edens. Thrallon is our leader and the founder. Our crones are Janice and Bonnie. Just so everybody knows, Janice and Bonnie, they're the ones with the sharp tongues.
And how long has John been with the
John started Blackberry Circle in 2004, but I believe he's been involved in paganism since around 83 or 84, up in Dallas at first, I believe, and he can correct you, so hopefully you get him on the show later on at some point, because he's a great source of information.
Well, we'll have to, because we got to talk about the upcoming conference y'all are hosting, which we'll get to in a little bit.
He's also the only one I know of that was a male member of a Dianic coven. So there's a whole story in
itself. Definitely have to get the story out of that one. That's an interesting little path there.
Yeah, Blackberry Circle is eclectic, Celtic based. We're very eclectic. We catch some flack about that from time to time. We write a new ritual for every single ritual that we practice.
Nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's good to change things up, because it's always good to find different ways to do it. Because I was talking to my friend earlier about this. There was Thomas Edison that quoted when they asked him, how did he feel about failing so many times trying to find a light bulb? And he said, I didn't fail. I simply found 1,000 ways with which not to make a light bulb.
To do it, yeah. That's a good way to look at it.
You're always writing a different circle, a different way to cast a circle, a different way to do different things. All you're doing is just you're finding different ways to do it. And who knows, maybe this one didn't fit, maybe this one fit, but you want to alter it a little bit. It's always good to mix things up.
We have some. In fact, we're going to, for Samhain, which is our next public ritual, we're going to do a reprise of the theme, "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?" from that movie.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's going to be interesting. I don't know how we're going to pull that one off.
Complete with the flooding and everything at the end.
There's no telling. Samhain has become very important to us. We actually have a physical circle. I built a circle for us. It's 52 feet across, and it's got 27 wooden posts. And so that's our permanent circle. But then recently, some of the other coven members created the Circle of the Dead, because in the past for Samhain what we've done is we've had our main circle here, and then we would incorporate a circle for the dead that intersects our circle. And we would invite the dead to partake, and we would also go to the Circle of the Dead. Well, what we've done now on John's land, which is really nice, is you walk from the Circle of the Living down through the trees, and then we have a much smaller, much more intimate Circle of the Dead. And this last Samhain, we did our first ritual, Samhain ritual, using that system, and we wrote a ritual in which there was a loss and of a child, and we have people portraying these parts because it's drama, psychodrama, so to speak. And we actually left the ritual circle and followed the grieving father and child down to the Circle of the Dead. And then had a session there where you say farewell to your dad, say hello to your dad, and so on, and then came back. It was very powerful.
I'm sure it was, especially when you're dealing with like otherworldly spirits, especially the ghosts and stuff like that. You have a lot of emotional aspects with it, because some people might incorporate aspects of it into their own life, as might happen.
We had over 110 people there, so we fill that circle, and
definitely
for most of these people, there's only 9 coven members, and we have our spouses and family attend too. But so we had nearly 100 people there for whom they don't have a regular ritual space to go to, and we gave them the opportunity to partake.
And this is part of y'all's open rituals too, right?
Yes.
Which y'all do a lot of.
Yeah, we used to do them every one of the 8 during major rituals during the year, and we backed off of that in the last couple of years. We've gotten tired of some of it. It takes a lot of work. We had some stuff going on we had to deal with, and we're changing the way that we do our training with students and so on. So right now we're doing about 4 a year. The next one coming up is Samhain, and we sure invite everybody who wants to come. We don't, if you want to come and you want to hang out there and not partake in the circle itself, you're totally welcome. If you want to come into the circle, you're welcome. If you have family that just wants to sit and watch while you're in the circle, you're welcome. It's just laid back, have a good time, give it a chance to do this.
That is definitely a very unique opportunity for people, because a lot of companies don't offer that. A lot of them are very closed because they don't like too much outside interference, for multitude of reasons. Some, they like to keep the energy strictly to a specific group, understandable. Some are okay with it, and some are.
We're not saying that the way we do things is the way everybody should do. We just happen to have a situation where we have a group of people. Most of us will not be hurt by being open. Most of us are open about our paganism. We have a piece of land that John has where we can do this. John and the others worked extremely hard to make this an official church. So we happen to be in a place where we can do this for folks. Doesn't mean it's the right way for everybody. Doesn't mean we think it's the right way. It just is.
That's what makes y'all unique. Y'all do things a little bit different than everybody else, and I think that's great. It gives a lot of opportunities to the outside world to interact with our community in a way that they don't feel restrained or constrained or as an outsider. I think it definitely creates a unique environment where we can give a better view of who we are, and in such a way that we don't look off or awkward, which is definitely a very positive image for us.
We hope so.
We got the interfaith conference coming up, which I think will also create a very unique situation.
This is something that John came up with and the others, and they've been working hard for a while. We're hosting an interfaith conference in May Day, roughly, of next year. We have Raven Grimassi attending as our keynote speaker. The theme of the conference, and it is an interfaith conference, we are going to be asking other faiths, and already have invited them to partake.
Have any responded to it yet?
Yeah, we have a Buddhist, at least, responded. There's a fellow who's, what is it, Unitarian Universalism?
Oh, yeah, yes, UUF.
Yeah, then he's responded, and then we have some other speakers or folks that are interested in speaking. We will continue, but until we're not allowed to sign up for the space until October. And so until we sign up for the space, we don't have a specific date and a specific location. And it's hard to get people to get involved if you don't have that yet, because it's not real.
Yeah, they don't have the assurance behind it.
Right. I mean, and everybody can talk. It's hard to do. Easy to talk, hard to do. So, but the place that we're looking for is right on the waterway in the Woodlands. We have no reason to believe that we won't get it. It's going to be a great venue. It'll be big enough to hold 100, 150 people. We're hoping to get that many. We're hoping to make it open to all the groups in Houston. We're going to also rent a little side room that's large enough to have kids at, so if you can make it a family affair, come up there. You might have one family member who's interested in attending some of the talks and so on, and you have your kids and your family. We've got that room available for them. The Spiral Scouts are going to be involved, which is the equivalent of Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts, and they're going to help us put some activities in that room and make some presentations to folks, and then help us with, we're not really doing a child care, but we're going to make it much more family friendly by doing that. And it's going to be on the waterway, so that means folks who come up will have the time. We're going to rent it for the day, we hope, and that means that folks can come up, and we'll have the sessions at a set time. That people can come up and they can go to the mall there. They might be able to take in a movie at the theater. They can go walk on the waterway. We want to make it as open and family friendly as an event as possible.
Yeah, thought about having any vendors yet?
Yeah, we definitely will have vendors. What we do, we have like a second or third time now we've had a May Day. Two of our Coven members, Sarah and Brian, had created this separately, and then we started hosting it with them at Blackberry Circle. They became Coven members, and we had great attendance, and we had 6 or 7 vendors for that. And we invite vendors to our public rituals anyway, just to give people, again, a chance to have a good time if they want to go browse through the stuff. It helps the vendors out. We try and support them. So we will have vendors. We will be making that available, but until we get that specific location tied down, specific date, we're not going to push anything out. But yeah, if you're a vendor, please feel free to contact us at blackberrycircle.org, because we want to hear your ideas before we cast everything in stone.
I do know of one lady that I'm sure would love to join. I think y'all might know too, Jewel Conch.
Oh yeah, we know Jill.
She has a lovely shop, especially out here on I-10, I believe it is. She has a shop over there now as well.
Just like, it's Houston. You know, it's so big that if you don't live within 15 or 20 miles, the odds of you going there are slim. You know, so, gosh, you know, we know that having this conference up in the Woodlands is going to be a little difficult for some folks, but we're hoping that by being open for it all day long, and that being all the activities and trying to be family friendly, that folks will feel more like making a day trip to come up, because they'll be able to do other things other than just attend the talks.
We'll definitely have to do it. I'll make sure we set aside a time to do an episode about it when we get closer, so we can get some of the guest speakers to come on, so people get to know who's going to be there. Get John to come in, any of the guest speakers. We even get some of the other speakers from the other paths to come in. You know, we can talk to them about how they feel about it, stuff like that.
Love to do that, and I think one of our biggest challenges, given the way Houston is kind of fractured, that we don't have a really common pagan culture, is we'd love to see other covens and members of other paths, the heathens, the druids, everybody feel free to join in and to come and give talks and present. And I have some ideas that we have to work out internally about how we can have some events within the conference where people can talk and discuss things without feeling that they have to get up. Because some people are intimidated by getting up to do a public talk. But I think that there's some easy ways that we can get together and set up tables during an intermission or during lunch or something, and maybe have a coven or a heathen group or a druid group host a table, which would be very simple. Would just simply mean something like putting a sign up and maybe leading a little discussion on whatever is important to them. You know, these are all things that have to be worked out, but I just want people to know that this is not Blackberry Circle's conference. This is Houston's conference.
It incorporates everyone. It's not just one path, or it's not just about us. It's about everyone around us. That's why it's called the interfaith. It's where we're trying to communicate with everyone else. Cross faith communications.
Yeah, we're gonna make it. We're gonna make it happen. We're gonna make it open to everybody. We can't drag them kicking, screaming in, but we'd love if they'd come. So get a hold of us.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I know I'll definitely be there, and I'll make sure I let everyone else I know about it, so they can.
And we'll set up. We can probably set up a side room for you to do interviews of people who attend. So just talk to us about that. We'll work with everybody.
Yeah, we can try to get like an inside view of what it was like there for people who weren't able to attend, people who were skittish about attending, so they can know what's going on. Maybe they can attend the next one. Maybe I can set up. Maybe if y'all allow me, I can set up a video inside the conference in a corner somewhere we can record the whole show. And show clips of it.
We're open to all of that now. So obviously there's some details that have to get worked out, but we're open to it. So
that would be excellent.
I'm hoping that we can get some of the Christians to attend.
I'm sure I know a few people who might be willing to attend.
And speak.
It might be a little more difficult, but I think I might find some people.
You never know. Would love to, because this is intended to be an interfaith convention.
Well, we got almost a year, so we put enough advertisement. I'm sure we'll get plenty of people.
We'll give it a try.
All right,
and just so people know, if you want to find out, keep track of what's going on, look up blackberrycircle.org on the web.
We'll definitely make a post about it, along with the video, so people can visit you. And so we definitely got to make sure we get enough publicity for it, so we can make everybody. I want everybody to know about it. I want this to become a big event for Houston, because it's something that we have.
The only thing that could happen is that other people get their ideas and get involved with us. It gets better. We are not going to, we're making it happen, but we don't feel that we have to be Nazis about exactly who speaks when or what or this. Let's just make it happen and learn from it and make it better next year.
Yes, I was definitely aiming for a better tomorrow. Is always definitely a good goal.
Give it a try.
Just like with my show, I'm always aiming for a better episode the next time. Always aiming for something newer.
We had talked within Blackberry Circle about trying to set up a TV channel, and we got as far as doing some plans and some examples of things, and then we kind of foundered. We had other things come up. It was difficult. None of us really knew anything about videography or how to do a video. And so when I heard that what you were doing, I got very interested, and that's why I'm here, is because I think that we need people like you to do this. We may still be able to host a channel on the Roku. There's plenty of Christian channels on there, and there used to be a pagan channel on there, but it's gone away. I think that we need some exposure, and if we can get that set up and running, then we can host whatever you come up with, whatever other folks come up with. We can do audio casts and just have a slideshow to go with it. I mean, this is all doable. We just got to get more than just like one or two people in one group involved. So I was really glad to see what you're talking about, and I'd like to learn more about what your plans are for it.
My goal eventually would be one day to create a show that's seen across the country, and we get people who are from different paths, non-pagan, pagan alike, to come on here and discuss different things about what's going on throughout the community and other aspects of the country. That way, it sheds a light not on just one area, not on just one group, but on the whole community as a whole, to become a more informative show. So people they don't just see one aspect of what we're about, but they can see all the aspects. We get people like, one day, I dream about getting Selena Fox on here, or Reverend Don, or Don Perry on here, or Oberon Zell. He's local here, isn't he? I believe.
Oberon? No, he's out west somewhere.
I thought he was here. Oh well, I'd like to get him on here one day. And
well, you know what? Here our little coven, 9 members. We're bringing Raven Gramassi down for the interfaith thing. We're capable of doing that. You can do it.
Well, I did talk to an artist. I don't know if you know her or not, but S.J. Tucker. She's a pagan artist. Talked to her, and she mentioned that she was interested in coming on one day. And
I'd love to.
And I'm a little skittish to get her on too early. I want to make sure the show gets out there and enough people are watching it before I get someone like that on here. But she was interested in one of my goals is to get her on here. Get artists on here.
We'd love to have an artist come down and put on a show right after we get done with our dry and boring talks and so on for our conference. But it's kind of like reaching, and that's a whole nother level.
Yeah.
You know, we got to have the infrastructure available for them, all the audio video they need to be able to do a decent job of what they're doing. We'd love to do that for this first one, but maybe we'll wait. But maybe you can do it, or, you know, Suge does house concerts. So
luckily for a lot of Pagan artists, all you need is an acoustic guitar and a microphone. But
yeah.
But we also have a local book writer named Michael Hart that we're trying to get. We're talking to him, and he might be coming on next week for a show.
That would be great.
And I'm going to try talk about his upcoming book that he just got put on the Nook. You know, he wrote it a couple years ago, but he's very excited about the fact that it's becoming available on the Nook now. So I'm trying to get him on here to talk about that and get that out there. Get more book writers on here so we can, you know, get, you know, the information out there. You know, more happenings about local events.
Well,
and
you know, I think there's a lot of pagans in Texas who actually do a lot. They write a lot, they're very creative, and I think that we're vastly underrepresented on the national front. I do some writing for a pagan blog, environmental blog called No Sacred Place. John Beckett up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area also writes for them. And that particular blog is hosted by the Pagan Newswire Collective. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
Not too familiar. I have heard the name.
It's the equivalent, it's the pagan equivalent of like the AP News organization. And the Pagan Newswire Collective has representatives in a number of states, a number of areas. I'm right now the default representative for Texas, and we have, each area has a website in which we try and do a number of things, one of which is to publicize all the local events going. Ours is at lonestarpagan.com. But the point is that there's a lot of people in this area, in Texas in particular, who aren't well represented on the national front, and your show is going to help, I hope, to publicize that.
I hope so too. We just got to get it out there enough that people want to start watching it. I know my last episode topped off, I believe, around 100 views or more. You know, I don't know if that was a repeat of the same person or not, but I was still happy about the numbers going up. I was like, yes. I mean, I was very excited when I first saw the episode go out and people were actually watching it. And I know when I posted about this, a lot of people were excited about the fact that I was making another one. You know, they were very excited, especially for this area. You know, there's not really much going on. I know there's another show out there called Modern Pagan.
Yep.
And they do a very good job as well. By no means trying to compete with them, but merely do the same thing as they are for my area. And you know, maybe one day we can both work together. You know, because I definitely take a lot of tips from them. I watch them, watch their shows. I've seen what they've done. They do a wonderful job with it. And I hope one day I'm on the same level as they are. You know, and maybe even better. Or you know, not that I'm trying to, you know, outdo them, but by no means. But you know, I want to be a national show one day. It's my goal. You know.
All right, and maybe that's one of the places that we work together in the future. Is you work on content, we'll work on. We still want to get Blackberry TV up and running, and we use the Roku channel as our vessel. We just got to make it happen. The big thing I always told everybody, we needed content. And we can't do it all ourselves, so we're going to depend on folks like you who are leading your own ways to making us known.
Now we just got to get other people to do other things as well. I mean, cooking
and
show.
They're out there. They're out there doing it.
Yeah.
They're out there. Well, and you know, on Facebook, you've got there's a number of Facebook groups I belong to, one of which is got to do with crafting. I mean, pagans are great big crafters. There's no reason we shouldn't have a crafting show or a crafting series on a channel on TV.
They get candles,
We've got one called Poor People Eats, which is about how to eat on a budget. Many of us need that. It's got great ideas.
We're not the wealthiest.
I've got one, a group called Pagan Brewers and Gardeners.
You do, and you brew beer yourself.
I brew beer. I drink as much of it as I possibly can.
I don't drink a whole lot of beer myself. I don't have the taste for it. I did find one beer I do like. It was called Lambic. So far I've only found one flavor. It was peach I liked. I can drink a lot of that. That was very delicious. And mead. I love mead.
Yeah. And you know, pagans are big brewers, big home brewers, especially mead. Mm-hmm. And you know, I brewed a little bit of mead. For our last public ritual, I brewed a recipe that's come down through verbal oral tradition in Scotland. They think the recipe goes back about 2,000 years. It was for a heather ale beer. It turned out very strange. It's not like a beer. Modern beers don't taste like what our ancestors used to drink.
No. We have a much more pickier taste buds nowadays.
That we're used to, the hops that we use that makes beer bitter, gives it the bitter flavors, was first used to provide, to keep the beer from spoiling. And if you keep the beer from spoiling, then you could sell it at a distance. Otherwise, you had to make it, consume it on the premises.
And that was a big to-do back then, too, was traveling.
Yeah, and so the heather beer, the heather ale that I made, the heather was used to keep it from finding. But when you drank this stuff, I mean, I made a couple of gallons. It was well received. We drank it all. I'm not sure I'll make it. I'm not sure if I'd make it again. It kind of tasted at first. The first flavor you get off of it was like straw, fresh mown straw, which was kind of odd. And then you got a little bit of citrusy taste on it.
Mm-hmm.
But we are big brewers. Pagans are big brewers, and I'm hoping we've got a bunch of recipes and stuff on that Pagan and Brewers.
And you can do a show about that too,
Yeah, we could. In fact, what we're
30-minute episode
going to try and do is I'm trying to get folks together, and we're going to do a brew day.
But you did mention, I saw that, but it'd be like what, $10? Pay $10 for the stuff.
You see, I can only brew. I only have the equipment to brew 5 gallons, right? And what I want is anybody who attends that gets involved, I want them to take a gallon home, because anything less than a gallon is not worth it. A gallon home that they can then ferment and bottle for themselves, so that by the time they're done with it, they will have been hands-on on the whole thing. Because what we're going to do, we're going to have a brew day outside. I think we're probably going to have it at our Covenstead up in Conroe. It's going to be sometime in August. I'm going to bring everything to brew a 5-gallon batch of beer. I'm going to teach people how to do the actual brewing and so on, and then decanting and starting the fermentation. And then everybody's going to have their jar. Well, I can only do 5 gallons, so we can only have 5 people. And the recipe that I chose is a blackberry wheat, which, given that it's Blackberry Circle, was appropriate. And wheat's a great brewing the wheat beer is a great beer for being relatively quick to mature, where you can drink it. It's relatively easy to brew, and it's a good summer brew. So I've got that recipe set up. It's an expensive recipe, so it actually cost me $50 for all of the ingredients. So if I get 10 people, and I'm one of them, 5 people, I'm one of them, we'll just put $10 in the pot each to cover the cost of the expenses. And if it works out well, people enjoy it, we'll keep doing it. We'll try and do it once a month, because I hate running out of beer.
I'm sure it'll be well taken.
I hate running out of beer, so we're going
to... Who doesn't?
And not only that, there's some folks that got interested. I think it's the Northwest Pagans group that brew mead, and so we may get one of the guys that may be interested in coming and setting up and also doing the same thing for making mead, which would be great.
Oh yes.
In fact, we would probably get more people. Well, we probably get more people interested in that than in the beer side, which is fun. So
it's just the social aspect of it,
So if we manage to do this, John has kindly said that he thought that we'd probably be able to do it up at the Covenstead, which is great, because although it's up in Conroe and a ways from place, you go out back behind the house and you're in our ritual space. He's got a big open field. It's private from the road. Lots of big pine trees around. Over to one side is our 50-foot permanent circle. And we'll just set up right there, and we'll make beer, and we'll probably set up a barbecue and just make a day of it. We'll do that in August, and one weekend in August, and I'm hoping that we get it set up and goes well, and we keep doing it.
That definitely would be, it sounds like a wonderful event. You're going to have lots of people drinking, merrymaking,
Like all of our public rituals.
Yeah.
I tell you, we've had so much fun at some of the public rituals. We almost burnt John's trees down one time, because I was appointed as the fire warden, because at that time, and we no longer do it because the climate's changing and there's too much threat of fire,
yes.
We used to have a big open pit, about 10 feet across, and we would put a bonfire in there, and I had like 60 foot of flames going up. We almost burned it, so we've backed off that now and filled it in, but we have other plans for the land back there. John's plans for the land is to continue to improve it. We've now had our permanent circle up for, 3 or 4 years. And with so many rituals there and with so many people coming, when I walk onto the property, I can just feel the power coming off it. It's amazing.
You have enough people coming through, you know, they all share their energy, and it all works together, you know, and weaves together, creates a wonderful pattern that everyone can feel and goes through their whole bodies. I mean, a lot of covens, a lot of groups and gatherings and circles, a great dream that they all try to attain to is to own their own land, which they can do the same thing on. And because to do something like that just makes it even more powerful, because it's like a home for them, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's like a place that whenever they go back to their own house, it's like they're leaving. When they come here, a lot of people feel like they're returning home. You know, when they go to this land that's for their group that they all meet at, you know, it's a very powerful feeling. One day I'd like to have something like that.
Well, you never know.
Yeah, now I have my
This was a dream of John's for a long time, and he made it happen. So it's just like anything, just like your show. You got a dream, you got a place to go, and you just start small and keep on working at it.
Yeah, dreams are stepping stones in life.
There you go.
All right, well, it's definitely nice to have you on the show.
Thank you very much.
I mean, a lot of good stuff happening, a lot of stuff we discuss. You know, I will make sure we post a lot about it. You know, again, I like to thank the guests for watching. You know, Meical was a great guest. It's nice to have you on. I'll be happy to have you back on again. Hopefully next time with John.
Oh, I'd love to get John here, because I mean, John's, you know, I'm a pagan wannabe, so to speak. You know, I do what I can do. I've learned it, but I'm new on the scene.
You're not a wannabe.
John's got a lot of history, and I think that would be really interesting to get him talking about that.
I would definitely hope to get him on here. I mean, a lot of history and a lot of information is a great thing to share with people. Okay. You know, and we can definitely look forward to having him on here. And I definitely look forward to having you again. Thank you once again. And to everybody else, have a wonderful day, and blessed be.
Blessed be.